France goes full France and passes a law making it illegal for employers to contact employees once they leave the office. The Hustle, Wednesday, January 4th, 2017. France's new law to restore work-life balance. On January 1st, a new French law took effect that guarantees workers the right to disconnect from technology, work-related emails, your boss asking to FaceTime, etc., once they leave the office. After all, the French, with their 35-hour weeks and 10 weeks of paid vacation a year, are in dire need of more downtime. All jokes aside, give France credit for addressing our new reality. In recent years, the line between work life and home life has become increasingly blurred, even invisible at times. We're expected to be accessible 24/7, ready to respond to an email or complete an assignment at a moment's notice. And since we spend so much time on our smartphones, it's virtually impossible to keep things separate. For example, some of us have the app we use for work communication, say Slack, right next to the app we use for non-work communication, say iMessage. What, are we nuts? Are jobs and our personal lives separated by a few centimeters? Now, some people do prefer this always-on lifestyle. In fact, plenty of entrepreneurs and startups rally around the whole idea that the workday is never over. However, this inability to disconnect and reboot is also messing a lot of people up and contributing to the increased levels of stress, burnout, and damaged relationships we see today. So while a country passing legislation that literally lets people ignore work emails is somewhat humorous, kudos to France for taking this issue seriously and being proactive. Question though, can you envision the U.S. government implementing something similar? We just can't see it. So for now, maybe start by charging your cell phone in the living room overnight. Social media, gotta start somewhere. The golden era of hedge funds is over. This past year marked the beginning of the end for hedge funds as we've known them. The compensation and wealth creation they offered a decade ago has changed dramatically. The mystique is gone. And considering Tom Wolfe famously called hedge funders the new masters of the universe just 8 years ago, it's safe to say few people saw this happening so soon. What happened? In short, investors grew tired of fund managers growing rich while producing little to no returns. In fact, one source claims that chief investment officers are so fed up they'd rather work with a trader who charges no fees over one who does, even if they know the latter will make more money. The evidence of this is hard to ignore, particularly when it comes to larger clients like MetLife, which pulled their money from hedge funds last year. For a bit more detail, the typical hedge fund pricing model is called 2 and 20, meaning managers get 20% of profits and charge a 2% management fee, which they receive whether they make money or not. So when fund managers struggled to generate satisfying returns, which was the case post-financial crisis, investors said, "Hey, you're vacationing in the Hamptons while I'm over here looking at minimal returns. What am I paying you for again?" There's still hope for hedge funds, though. Some folks predicting that, like most things in life, the pendulum will swing and funds facing redemptions today will be back in demand tomorrow. Social media. Where's Bobby Axelrod? Airbnb is losing its edge. According to recent reports, renting an entire home on Airbnb costs about the same as a single hotel room, $160 versus $164 per night, respectively, and even less in expensive cities like New York and San Francisco. This has the hotel industry in a bit of a panic, and as expected, they've started to fight back with accusations that Airbnb is largely illegal, and they're starting to gain some traction. You can't do that, the Bed and Breakfast Club. In places like the UK, a huge advantage for Airbnb comes from special tax allowances that account for nearly one-third of the savings customers receive over traditional hotels. But the company's lack of standard rental regulations has drawn criticism from the likes of the Bed and Breakfast Association, First Order of Business, Pancake or Waffles, and other hotel lobbyist groups. This pressure has led to a few setbacks for the rental platform. Yearly rental limits. Starting in 2017, the UK will require Airbnb properties to limit short-term rentals to 90 days per year. Some U.S. cities like San Francisco have imposed even more aggressive 60-day yearly limits. Tourist taxes. In Paris and 17 other French cities, Airbnb must now collect the same tourist tax paid by French hotels. Zwachtenvermögensverbot. That's the name of Berlin's ban on short-term rentals that fines people for renting more than 50% of their apartment short-term without a permit. New year, new adversaries. Airbnb's biggest advantage over hotels is slipping away, and it looks like they'll need to bulldoze their way through plenty of roadblocks in 2017. However, considering they just achieved the type of hockey stick growth that every startup dreams about, we doubt they mind a bit of a challenge from the incumbents. That's just the cost of disruption, right? Social media. Pancakes, personally. BMW is connected, but it's still out of the loop. A few weeks ago, BMW announced a partnership with IBM's Watson to enhance its Connected Drive service, an in-car app store that allows drivers to upgrade their whip. Traffic data, messaging, even remote engine control, it's all there just waiting to be purchased. But while this puts BMW ahead of the other traditional automakers who still require a visit to your local dealership to update your GPS, they and the rest of the industry have a long way to go before they master the digital market. The sale before the sale. Even as BMW introduces digital services for car maintenance and refueling through its app store, it's not exactly as easy as clicking the download button. In fact, they have a whole mini-site devoted to showing BMW owners in a few steps how to buy and operate connected services, and visiting the site legitimately gave us anxiety. Oh yeah, they're also charging car owners €360 to access the app store, plus another €45 every 6 months to rent apps like real-time traffic information. Renting apps? Seriously? As Andrew Shipilov points out, you can imagine buying an iPad, especially in the early days of this product, and then having to pay €100 to access the App Store? It's a serious barrier to adoption. Doesn't seem like the savviest move, particularly if BMW wants to create a two-sided network, a system where both drivers and service providers benefit from each other's increased participation. Instead, it's created a platform that caters to dealerships and service providers, while actively making it difficult for drivers to buy stuff from them. And if they want to keep up with the Tesla's ludicrous upgrades, they're going to have to kick things into gear. Social media already lost the owner's manual. The hustle. Subscribe, jobs, advertise, ambassadors, events. Kendall, see you in Paris. Baker, writer. Lindsay Quinn, a bed with clean sheets. John Havel, backseat editor. Paul C. Wunk, political consultant. You opted in by signing up, entering a giveaway, or through divine intervention. 1381 9th Avenue, San Francisco, California, 94122. In the United States, 415-506-7210. Never want to hear from us again? Break our hearts and unsubscribe.